What's up, guys? It's Black Day 19 here again. Thanks for joining me. As you know, Bungie was out at TwitchCon here a couple days ago, and they were going over some things that they're going to be releasing for Destiny 2, Season 2 coming up. So I just kind of wanted to take a moment and just do a live reaction video and just kind of give you my thoughts as they kind of talk about it. Now, this thing is about 3 hours and 10 minutes long. I'm not going to be going through the whole thing. I'll probably jump around and skip it around. And trying to touch on some key important things throughout this. I have heard some things, read a few articles on, what some of the updates are, but I kind of want to just take a moment out and really take a look at this right alongside with you. So I think here they are talking about some recent or some soon-to-be new updates that Destiny 2 is going to have in it. So let's take a quick listen here and see what we see.
In Destiny 2, not the last Iron Banner for Season 1, but for the first Iron Banner, what did we learn?
We learned a lot. We have about...
Here's what we learned in Iron Banner 1. Collecting tokens sucks. People leave fire teams. It makes it hard to get Ws. And even if you get over 100 packages, you're probably still not going to leave with a full suit, meaning every new armor from head to class item. That we did learn. And I think a lot of people, myself included, found that very frustrating. You can, spend so much time in this and literally only need one thing by the time, the event's over. Now, I know a lot of guys and gals out there, they work, they have kids, they don't have a whole lot of time where they can devote to this kind of thing. And that's kind of what Bungie was trying to do in terms of going the casual route, where making it seem like it didn't have to be a full-time job. But for a lot of people, even in its casualness, there's still a lot of effort that has to be put forth there. And I think a lot of people, myself included, aren't real huge fans of that. So let's see what Ryan has to say.
About 1,600 years of data to come through and figure out what we're going to do next.
So the Guardians of Destiny 2, just to make sure that that's not, it doesn't go over heads. The Guardians of Destiny 2 played 1,500 years of Iron Banner for the week that it was live?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's the power of this community, and we are amazed by it daily. So thank you for playing. But what did we learn?
So we learned how you guys interacted with the loot system, first and foremost. And that's something we took to heart. So in Season 2, you're going to see some changes there. We are going to let you direct purchase the guns that we put on offer.
Yep.
So we're getting rid of the token system.
Using what?
Trash.
Using tokens and legendary shards.
Okay,
so you're going to have to pay, but you can direct purchase the guns each week. We're going to slowly roll out the guns there, too. That's just a better experience than all at once.
And in terms of how we grant new...
I don't know if I necessarily like that. I kind of like how they did in Destiny 1, where they would let you see what was available they would let you see what was available for purchase, and you could make your decisions based on that. In this regard, I don't know if it's going to play too, if it's going to sway decisions one way or the other, because for the most part, guns as they are now only have one role. Armor as it stands right now only has one role. So what's the big deal, Bungie? Just let us see what we can purchase right when the activity comes out.
Rewards. How can we evolve the way people acquire things that distinguish themselves as Crucible connoisseurs or Crucible elite or whatever competing in Iron Banner means to you personally?
Yeah. So the other key takeaway we got was that the token economy, while it does some great things for us, it's not always the best way to handle things. So with Season 2 Iron Banner gear and Season 2 Faction Rally gear, we are going to let you unlock your rituals via gameplay, or unlock your ornaments via gameplay. So you're going to have a sweet set of Season 2 gear that we're going to show you in a bit. And you're actually going to unlock the redecoration of that and the new perks, new stats on that via actual gameplay.
So we've seen, I'm sorry, what are you going to say?
No, I was just going to add on, we really want you to have that feeling when you walk into the tower and you see someone just decked out with all the ornaments, that person is awesome. They're they clearly love Iron Banner and they crushed it out there. Yeah. They look amazing.
On the first,
it sounds good, but knowing Bungie, they're going to find a way to fuck it up. They will. They will.
Iron Banner is an opportunity for us to introduce the activity and introduce the character of Lord Saladin and the ritual itself to what have been an influx of new players for Destiny 2. Now, these things can become more elaborate, more interesting over time. And we did get the narrative, we did get the community narrative. I want the acquisition of Iron Banner rewards to be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more challenging than just something that I'm pulling out of a reward package. So, in Season 2, not the next Iron Banner, because we still have to introduce our friends on the PC to Lord Saladin before...
They already know Saladin. Saladin was in Destiny 1. Speaking of Saladin being in Destiny 1, what happened to Aphrodite? She was like the Iron Banner officer for, year 3, and now she's just like gone. And speaking to people who are gone, what the hell happened to the Stranger? See, this is my problem with Bungie. They'll introduce new characters, and then those characters disappear, and we have no idea what happened to them. There's so much more story that can be told, and yet and still they're focusing on just doing like the aesthetic stuff.
For Season 2, there will be one more Iron Banner in Season 1, and if you don't have a full set yet, you can still acquire those items.
Right.
But these ornaments are earned how exactly?
So these ornaments, when you zip into your Iron Banner armor, down at the bottom, where you have all your mods and decorations, you'll see an ornament slot there. It'll be grayed out until you actually complete an objective we list on top of it.
So it's
That
kinda
objective
like
could be something
or
like
like
go
challenge.
win 10 Iron Banner matches, or go flawless in Trials of the Nine.
Okay. Getting ahead of ourselves just a little bit. Getting ahead of ourselves just a little bit. And then, we're taking existing armor that you own and we're making it a little bit more elaborate through things that you achieve. And these will be the hallmarks of those achievements.
Right. The point is that, like Steve said, someone will look at you and say, wow, he did that in Season 2.
I gotta be honest, unless the gear comes with some intrinsic perk that is somewhat significant, from any other piece of armor that's currently in the game, it's just something to do. Enough with the aesthetics. Where is the value add?
So when Season 3 rolls around, these ornaments they're not there anymore. You don't have the ability to unlock them. So it's important that you hop in and finish your Season 2 collection.
And Steve, as we certainly can attest, you see someone in your clan. I mean, what's one of the most perennial questions in Destiny? But where did you get that?
Exactly.
Help me get that.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's
let me get out my backpack.
Let's go win some matches.
All right, and then of course, as you mentioned, they will be able to acquire new Iron Banner weapons. So if you have a deep cache of legendary shards or tokens, you can use those.
So the majority of Destiny 2 player base right now has a very deep stash of legendary shards because right now they're like useless. You probably have all of 8 guns that are pretty much going to be the guns that you use primarily. And then you just constantly get guns that are just trash, don't have any different perks, or you just have no use for it. So you delete them. If you're like me, you delete them. And if you're like me, you also don't do Prestige Nightfalls because the only thing that does is give you guns and armor that you're probably not going to use anyway. You're just going to dismantle for Glimmer, which if you're like me, you're already at the level cap, and weapon parts that I've got like over, 1,200, 1,400 that I can't do anything with because no weapons are different, so I don't have a need for them. I don't have to roll for any different perks. There's a lot of pointless things going on in Destiny 2 right now.
Things to acquire these weapons. They've been visually redesigned, but also tactically, yes?
Right, so with Season 1 Iron Banner, we deployed a bunch of weapons that had some holes in the deployment. Like, you had a kinetic hand cannon, but you didn't have the energy version of a hand cannon. We're going to go ahead and fill that out for you and let you get the energy version of it now. We've also updated the perks and the stats on the guns, too.
Mm-hmm. So they're very purposeful decisions that you make. This is what the sandbox needs now. This is what...
But do the guns come with different perks? Like if I'm playing Iron Banner, my buddy's playing Iron Banner, we both get a grenade launcher or a hand cannon or a rocket launcher. Are they going to have different perks? Probably not.
The arsenal may be lacking. This is how we'd like to change the way people
and I know a lot
fight
of you guys
season
are
over
upset
season.
with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
We
I
talked
don't
about
blame
sandbox tuning, and obviously buffing and nerfing is one way to do that. But a common narrative in the community is quit adjusting everything and just give me something else that might compete with that thing. So with a frequent influx of new weaponry, you can say, you know what would balance this out a little bit is this scout will level the playing
Yeah,
field.
some new tools, right? Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. You hinted at Trials of the Nine.
I just got excited.
Yeah, right. Trials of the Nine.
The other thing I hate about watching these guys is like they try to be cool, they try to be quirky and funny, and they're not any of the above. What they are is people who try to put out a good game and fail on a lot of different fronts. And for a lot of people, it's just, you know, it's not a good time. Which is why a lot of players are waiting for Anthem or Assassin's Creed or any other different game.
The Nine can be very exciting. So you hinted at Trials of the Nine. You had mentioned that Iron Banner gear will have ornamentation.
Right.
You know, and if you have played Destiny 1, ornamentation shouldn't be a foreign concept. You know, we did that as Iron Lords. You know, we've done this on different occasions where you acquire something and then as you master the use of it, it becomes more interesting visually. So you're doing that for Iron Banner. You're also doing that for Trials of the Nine. Unfortunately, my will is not my own. So I can't show you that now. But like I said, we're making some promises. We're getting some pieces on the board. I appreciate everybody that just, you know, issued an audible aww. But we'll show you this stuff, or maybe you'll just discover it for yourself in the game. Because those moments are awesome too. When you're in the tower and somebody sees that for the first time, and you can tell,
old content that you've already
maybe they
played,
use one of
like
your
new
remotes.
content. It doesn't even have to be like a massive DLC rollout. It can be,
They do look really cool.
you know, hey, we
And
understand
then
we've got
also
holes in the story.
in Season 2,
Here's
we
a
will
few
have
missions to kind of
redesigned
help fill that in.
Trials
Here's
of the
where this
Nine
person
weaponry,
came from. Here's this person's
new
backstory.
visual aesthetic, as well as you mentioned before,
All this is
different
just
perks.
aesthetics.
Right, so they have the iconic Trials look. They have the Trials look from year one, is what we're dubbing it. But they are updated. They have new perks. They're filling out your inventory for where you previously had some gaps before. Just new ways for you to play.
Okay. The Trials look from Season 1?
Yes.
You had said
sorry.
year 1. I just,
Yeah.
okay. If I don't correct you, they will.
Yes,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Keep
they
us,
will.
keep us honest,
Sorry.
friends.
Oh, we try to keep you guys honest all the time, and you only hear what you want to hear. We want more content, and like I said, it doesn't have to be like full DLC rollout content where it takes months and months to produce. Just help us fill in some of the holes. What happened to the Stranger? What happened to the Queen? You know, where did the Traveler really come from? Is that, I almost gave you guys away a little teaser of a video I'm working on, but just more content. Like the aesthetics is cool, but aesthetics are only value add when there's so much content in the game that it actually adds to what's currently going on or helps you understand something a lot better. Kind of like putting lore in game that we still don't really have. A little bit, but not on a mass scale.
I just wanted to let you know that I heard it too. So moving along, Faction Rally was a fascinating
Faction Rally was a huge disappointment. Huge disappointment.
social experiment.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun for us.
It was a neat concept, but like super boring in terms of like content coming out. So here you have the guy from Dead Orbit, the robot from Future War Cult, and my guy repping for Team New Monarchy. I thought it would have been cool if you listen to these guys when they were actually going about giving you their spiel when they were trying to get you to join their faction. I basically think New Monarchy was saying that, you know, when the wall fell, they had actually captured a lot more resources than the other two factions combined and were basically the top producers. Future War Cult was basically saying that, you know, they need to prepare for, you know, an infinite war that could be on the precipice, and we need to be ready for that. And the guy at Dead Orbit was basically saying, like, hey, our future is within the stars. Like, we don't belong here. What I thought would have been cool, and I'll admit, if Bungie had have wrote it this way, New Monarchy probably would have had the worst, you know, mini quest, whatever, right? But how cool would it be? And I said this when Faction Rallies were live, that Dead Orbit won. How cool would it be is if the winning team, you got to go on mini quests to support their cause. So because Dead Orbit won, we would have had to actually venture out into the stars and try and find a new home, right? Somewhere that's like not where we're at now. So it would give us like more worlds to explore. new creatures to explore. And again, this isn't something that has to be like, huge DLC rollout, but it would have been neat to just kind of get out and give us like that little mini content, maybe like 2 or 3 missions, instead of saying, hey, you're Faction 1, here's a weapon that you're probably not going to use, and that's probably not all that good to begin with. Future War Cult could have had like war training games where, you're preparing, you're actually out preparing for this infinite war that's on the precipice. And like I said, New Monarchy probably would have been boring because all New Monarchy said is, hey, we're out scavenging for resources. And so they would have had you out on Earth at the farm, like finding resources and just stockpiling stuff. I get it. It's not that exciting. But again, Dead Orbit, to be able to get out and use the ships for something other than a loading screen. Bungie, are you listening? We've only been saying this since 2013. We want the ships to do something. It would have been cool for you to be able to go out, use your ships, venture, maybe even some of the older worlds that were in Destiny 1, but just have a new spin on them. We know how Bungie loves, putting a new coat of paint on something old and calling it brand new, so I'll meet you halfway in that regard. It would have been nice if you would have just wrote it a little bit differently instead of taking the easy way on saying, hey, this Faction 1 uses a gun.
I'm sure many of you noticed, but it's actually one of the first times when our entire community on both platforms contributed to this event. You declared who you wanted to represent, and across both platforms, sure enough, the winner won out. And so what's exciting, one of the things that's really exciting for me personally is that, the next time we plan on doing this, right?
Yep.
In a mere number of days, we'll have another platform that can contribute and that can be part of the battle. Yeah.
3 factions to declare loyalty to.
3 factions to declare loyalty to, but you have 3 characters. Assuming you have 3 characters. So no matter who wins, as long as you pledge one, character per one faction, you're going to get a reward. Make the rewards better. Destiny is more than just about collecting guns. We want to explore. You remember how you guys did the live action commercials back in 2012, 2013? That's the game we want. Not like, hey, collect armor and collect guns that we're not going to give you enough vault space to carry anyway. So,
3 gear sets that you can earn, 3 platforms on which you can play, and every single player on every single platform will be counted, will be tabulated, and we'll understand once again the reigning faction in the tower. You want to have a rematch right now? Let's make some noise. Who's going to declare for Dead Orbit next time? Future War Cult. New Monarchy.
that's the one. That's the one.
All right. So the TwitchCon winner of the faction rally is New Monarchy?
New Monarchy.
I think so. I think so. And I don't see a lot of people wearing red in this room. So who would have thought that would be the outcome? All right. Dead Orbit? Future War Cult?
There we go.
New Monarchy. Your recount has been logged. I'm declaring New Monarchy the winner.
He's just so corny.
Case closed.
Corny.
So obviously, in summary of Season 1, when a faction wins, they get to sell their prize weapon. If you declared with
We don't want a prized weapon. We want a prized quest.
them, it's cheap. If you didn't, it ain't.
Yep.
So these were obviously the first faction rally weapons. We'll have one more faction rally before the end of Season 1.
Right? And
Okay.
we'll have 3 new weapons on offer.
Yep. All right. Again, another way for us to say, here's what the sandbox needs. Another way for you to earn
I will say, though, the number from Future War Cult was
weapons
pretty
that will
nice.
change the way you
like
fight
it.
and
It's
play.
kinda got
And
that
there's one other thing I wanted
kind of
to
feel.
make sure we talked about Faction Rally is that, because of the way we're doing seasons, we can make quick changes, right? So one of the things that everyone quickly found out when doing the Faction Rally that, there were certain scenarios where the best thing to do was to be in a fire team